Hey everyone, I hope you are all right on this beautiful Sunday morning. Let me open up some shades. Let's do that. Let the air in. All right. Nice. Oh, light. Let's cut that on too. Wee. Let me tell you what I feel. I already feel better. So this is the 44, right? Sunday. Next Sunday is going to be the 50th show. One in the morning, one at night. And then on the 51st show, we're going to shift, I think. 50 is a nice round number. I like to do things on the start of the month. It could have been today, this 1st of August, right? But the best way I do it is if I start running, jogging, exercise regimens, art project, I like to start it on like the Sunday, right? It's a straight week. I know how long I've been doing it. Uh, if it's like 3 or 4 days, a week or two, not a week or two, but like, 10 days before the first of the month, I'll wait and start it on the first of the month because I'm a weirdo like that. Uh, and the rare case that, which is not rare, it's yearly. In the yearly case that something happens, I always, the last 2 years I didn't, but for my whole life, I always picked up uh, uh, New Year's Eve's resolution, right? What's your New Year's Eve's revolution? Last revolution, resolution. Oh, I stopped doing that, man. That's all right. People stop doing it because they fail at it. So they're like, yeah. But I'm like, I gotta run. I gotta do this. I'm gonna try and do this year. I'm gonna da 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 da. And then I do it, and I make sure I do it till at least like May, like 3 or 4 months, and more like March, right? Because people begin falling away in February, right? By the time Valentine's Day comes around, few people are on their New Year's Eve resolution, and I still am. So when I normally crash out my New Year's Eve resolution, it'll probably be somewhere around March, April, May, really. Um, yeah, tis what it is, baby, baby. So yeah, it is the first. It is 75 degrees. It is a cool day. I have coffee here today. I had a delicious sandwich yesterday after us going back and forth about if I was going to cook that steak in there or not. I can't let it go bad. I can just cook it, throw it in the fridge. We decided yesterday. But then I realized once that thing is cooked, that thing is going to get eaten. So I guess I am going to have it for brunch today at about 11. Uh, but first, this is pretty good. But first, I don't want this destroyed. I'll put this here. We're going to figure that that's there. Where's the other one? That's not it. Is that it? That's not it. Oh, Lord. Um, so, phone, coffee, guitar, sunshine, fresh air, open window. Ah, let's see if we can get this on. I knew there was something. Yeah, come on. Thank you. All right. Let's pop this on some interesting number, like 21. 21 is a good number. I like 21. It's 7 3 times, and it's my birthday. All right. So let's see what we're up to today. Today, we're going to come up with that schedule, a really good one, and we're going to implement it tomorrow. Uh, Actually, today is Sunday, the first, so we could actually do this today and implement it tonight. I keep, I want to stay away from being like, oh yeah, we're definitely going to do it by this date, because we're already a week behind from all sorts of weird circumstances. I should change this shirt. Uh, Black in the summer in the South is a thing. but black doesn't like it absorbs not just like it absorbs the heat too, right? You feel warmer in a black tee in the same conditions that you feel warmer as you feel less hot in a white tee. I'm not saying you're not going to be hot in a white t-shirt, but man, what a diddle it'll a. I've got all sorts of things planned out. I had the weirdest dream. How can I even explain it? We were all going someplace, right? Moving through like people. So first it seemed like people just hanging out chilling. Like it was, let's say, a golf, like not golf, but like a lawn party of some kind. And we're like, yeah, excuse me, try to get the. And I think we were trying to leave everybody because everybody was like too close together. And then we ended up heading for some place that I sort of can't remember. So then we had a destination and we were going. Uh, and then there were all these sort of game problems to solve. We became like four people in a like a D&D party because I've been talking about D&D all week. I think that might have been had something to do with it. We were talking about COVID. I think that had something to do with it. Uh, and I had trouble figuring out some of these traps. And this other person who, oddly enough, is a famous YouTuber. I don't know how she got in my dream. She's like, yeah, we'll do it this way. But I was like, then I realized, there's like a glitch in my reality here, right? So let's say this is part of the world that looked just like this, but behind that flag, people were getting like climbing the flag and getting over it onto like a roof, right? So the wall of the flag is like a roof, but a high one, right? So between the flag and the floor is like a poster, but that space of the posters and paintings would be about 40 feet. And I was like, how are you going to get up there? And people just had no problem doing it. Then I realized when I got closer, there was like, you could see some of the ladder in the flag. And I kind of reached in and pulled it out like a fire escape. And then I was able to climb up. And I was like, what the hell does that even mean? Am I running away from the virus? Am I running to YouTube? Am I solving game problems? What the fuck does this even mean? I mean, it was so weird and nonsensical. That and then the famous YouTube lady who was in it, like she was she was typical YouTube gamer. She was always smiling. She was like, "Hey, let's do it this way. Hey, let's do it that way." And then she'd run off by herself, and then we'd all have to catch her. And first, it was a bunch of us, and then it became a game thing. There was like four of us, and then I got not really separated from them. And then I had to walk down like there was a crowded beach, and in the middle of the beach, there's like another giant thing. So you can see people sitting around the beach, people walking around this side of whatever wall that was, and people down at the shore. And you can see people further down the shore behind the other side of the wall. I was just kind of like, huh? So I got up to it and I walked around. I didn't go to the water side because I didn't know if like the wave would come up and hit the side of it. If there were, in my dream. So I went around the other side, which is where the I'm about to say the parinade. I don't even know what that is. The not the barricade, not the battlement. Where people walk through the thoroughfare, the Palisades on the other sides were. So I'll go around to walk to where the Palisades are, and all I instantly sort of feel like I'm back in Brooklyn. There's like a lot of people talking slang and loose yak, but it's still here. It's still here because somebody walked through and somebody was like, "This guy says he's from Brooklyn." And I looked at the guy who was walking around. He looked like a Brooklyn. I had like Tim's on at the beach. He looked completely out of place. And I thought to myself when I woke up, am I mentioning where I'm from too often? Is that like a subtle thing about my subconscious going? So I mentioned that you're from Brooklyn, but everybody knows I'm from Brooklyn. I have a weird accent down here. They instantly peg me from the north. Uh, so yeah, all these things bubbled up in my subconscious, and I was like, what does any of this even mean? Should I not say I'm from Brooklyn? Should I gain more? Should I not gain more? Should I stay away from these people because of COVID? Right? But I'm not around anybody but my family, quite frankly. I don't go to clubs. It's a very weird dream. I think just what it's the way your dreams happen, it doesn't always have to do with you. Sometimes it has to do with the things that you're sort of stressed about. Uh, Yeah, you got to get that job, but then you go to sleep and you have a dream of trying to wrestle the dragon. And you got to get the dragon. The dragon is supposed to be the job, and you can't believe you did it. You got the dragon, but this doesn't work. And now the boss or the king or whatever is pissed off at you, and you wake up going, "What the hell was that?" Um, Dream interpretation is always fun. Uh, some people say you have to read a book. Okay, it's dreams. Ouch. Excuse me. Uh, I don't want to sit on my balls. It's dreams. And at the end of the day, I think only you can interpret your dreams, right? You've been with you all day and all night for a long time now. So who am I to show up as a stranger and go, oh yeah, that means you're secretly gay? Shut up. What do you know about anything? You're an idiot. Right? Especially people who don't know you. I read a book on dreams, and that means this. Like, there are some universal. I get falling, right, and flying. Everybody wants to fly. I don't think I ever flew in my dream. I did a lot of falling in my dreams that would wake me up. Once was in a disco. I think it was a disco, and it was like night sky, clouds, like a like smoke disco on the floor, walking around, talking to people, and on the disco floor, like the smoke kind of cleared a little bit, and you could see that you were on a cloud. You could see like the world straight down. And I was like, where are we? And then as I moved back, like everybody would, like the cloud was like up to like people's knees, and where I was, I couldn't like get to where it was a high cloud, and it just kept sort of dissipating. And then I fell through the disco floor of this cloud in this outdoor nightclub that I thought was a club, but was actually just in the cloud somehow. And I just plummeted, screaming, ah! We're in the cloud. We're trying to get everybody to sit. Everybody's drinking like, and then as soon as how weird dreams are, and then I was just falling, and then woke right up. What the hell was that? Let me tell you what. So I was making this beverage, and flipping through the paper. This guy, Captain Stupid, for no reason, he kills two people in the movie theater. And I have a philosophy about guys like this. They're saying they don't think he knew him, but he was the guy he shot was famous on TikTok, right? And he's about that age for TikTok, so something tells me he knew him. And he had follows on other platforms too, like 1 million here and like 500,000 there. And he killed him and the girl he was out on I wouldn't call it a date, you never know, right? But she was 18, he was 19. It was more than likely a date than them hanging out with a bunch of friends, right? And I think it was all kinds of jealousy and sad boyism, and if you got this new gun, couldn't wait to use. I think there's a lot of this shit. Walk around with all the time, getting it like starting fights with people so you can be important, and then run away. But these idiots do this in a land of guns and a land of cameras. Everybody sees you now, you idiot. So he killed a 19-year-old who had a bright future ahead of him, a young 18-year-old who just graduated high school. What? When in July 1st, like a month, a couple of weeks ago, and he's 20. Who raised him? This is what I mean. He didn't get there by himself. He fucking didn't get there by himself. And all these parents are like, you go and interview the murderer, and no one ever shows up at the parents' house. Go, what kind of fucking person did you raise? The idiot boy that you just raised snuffed out 2 lives. Impacted how many people? Each of those young people's mothers and fathers and brothers and sisters, right? Their promise. Each of those young people's kids who won't ever be here, right? Those kids need new vessels to get to this plane on, if that makes any sense to some of you. You know what I'm saying? Because I still believe that they're up there in the cosmos. Because I'm a weirdo. But he's going to do 1,000 years in a box, and he should. I tell you, guys, fix your head. All this I'm a warrior shit in an unfair place where they can't wait for you to do something dumb shit like this. So they can put you on a poster, call you an idiot, and then loosely associate your behavior with all the people of your group or of your gender or of your whatever. See, I kept you safe. And I heard another thing about this story. This story gives you No information other than the most obvious bit of information. I should be using my iPad as the biggest screen. And they don't really say why he did it. This is a young man he killed for no reason. Shot him in the head like a couple of times. Apparently, you didn't know the guy. Just people said you didn't have any exchange with the guy. This is the young woman he killed. Just shot them both, apparently for no reason, for jealousy, for anger. He wasn't the girl's ex-boyfriend. He didn't know these people. She's 18, she's gone. Why? Because you were sad and life wasn't working out for you. You couldn't get that job. This is not the first time we saw this. A few months ago, some guy in his white Jeep was just riding around killing people. And then he drove up I'll use this. This looks as big as the car. It was a food line. I want to say McDonald's. So a guy was in his car with his girlfriend, waiting in line for the McDonald's thing. And he comes with his car into the McDonald's lane. The guy backs up so he could get out. Like, what is this guy doing? And then he pulls up right next to him and shoots the driver in the head 3 times and just drives away. And when the cops called up, when he killed himself, so nobody knows why he did it. And fix your fucking kids. This is your problem. I have a philosophy about this, and it's partially a lived experience, right? You can't beat up everybody. Some of these people are assholes, and they're bigger than you. So not everybody carries guns to deal with the assholes who are bigger than you. This is what it got down to. It wasn't just people like guns and killing people. And I will give you good. Some people are just bad people, but I'll give you good hard currency. One thing that you don't ever really hear about is I want to hear the sizes of these people. I really do. I had a guy get in my face, and I had to pull a gun on him and calm him right the fuck down because he really thought he was going to do some shit to me in a bar and get away with it because he was an NYU student. And I cleared his head and the head of everyone in that bar that I was in. Gave him a fucking hot lesson of about 30 seconds of your ass is lucky that I'm not the motherfucker. If anybody else, you'd be toast on the ground, essentially, for what he fucking did. Then I left because I'm also smart. I'm not going to give you a 20-minute lecture so the cops can roll up on me. Then I have to explain to the cops what happened, right? This was an easy bite, right? You thought it was an easy bite. It wasn't as easy as you thought it was. It got stuck in your throat, and it almost ended you. People are ridiculous. Too many bullies. Too many people who daddies rigged the set for them. Like Joe Biden's kid, who's now selling bullshit artwork for $100,000 a piece and being arrogant about it. Someone asked him, why so much for your paintings? And he said some flipping fuck you shit. Literally, fuck you. Like, can we find that quote? Let's find that quote. And he instantly struck me as his father, who always has some flipping bullshit to say. I can't punch a fucking senator in the face. I get that. But I really wish other senators could punch senators in the face because these people need a reality check. And just because you're behind a gilded fence talking smoke about the people who are struggling doesn't mean somebody with common sense on your level shouldn't throw you out a window. And this is what it is. It's the arrogance of privilege. Let's put this up. Man, we started off hot this morning. Oh my God. What's his name? What's the idiot kid Biden's name? Biden's paintings. Let's do that. Take money from foreign governments, and when it's all over, you're back in California like an asshat. It's the fucking nonsense of it. It just doesn't make. Hunter Biden responds to critics of the price of his art other than fuck them. Fuck them. Yeah. Another pompous, just the amount of people in government who should be fucking arrested for shit is ridiculous. We spoke to Hunter Biden about his new life as a fucking painter. Got no history with it, no history with art. Your whole history is drugs and prostitutes. Now you're a painter. And not only are you a painter, you're selling paintings for $100,000. If I put that up, I should get an eBay account and put that up on eBay just for curiosity's sake. I mean, the arrogance of these people. They fail upward all the time. George Bush Jr. failed upward all the time. My 2 favorite things about George Bush Jr. is 1, his military records disappeared. in a fire. Really, he wasn't actually going to any of his assignments because his dad was the fucking Secretary of Defense, not Secretary of Defense, CIA, head of the CIA. And then his father was vice president and then president, right? And before that, he was a congressman from Texas. It's just ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous. And can't even get you health care. You're watching all this corruption and they won't even take care of you under the arrogance of it. You won't do shit to us. And I think that's what always happens right before the fall. I told people, I said it before, I don't know if America is Cuba before the fall or there was another one, but I think that fall out of my head. I think we're really Cuba before the fall. I think there's a Batista's always around us, and one of these days somebody's gonna come and be Castro and lock all these fucksies up. And here's another thing: you let all these people come and set up essentially a Cuban government in Florida. Right? I'm not a fan of that either. Florida has one of the worst racial records, and then they came in and act like it didn't happen. They fully, completely sided with the oppressor. As they complain about an oppressor, the fuck out of here. So yeah, Santos, I don't care. You know, somebody should really look into how people get into this country. They just show up and stay. Any rapist or robber or murderer can slide in here from Europe and stay, and no one cares. Well, all right, we'll see what happens. I've got no kids. Video shows woman being beheaded in broad daylight by male attacker and left her body on the street. Who then threw her body onto the street. I will tell you what, I'm not for violence, but I do love to hear why all this shit played out. Because I mean, I'm not saying anybody deserves anything, hear me out. But I am saying that with the news, we don't ever get anybody's full story. And nobody deserves to be beheaded, don't get me wrong. But I just think that people are just so used to not getting the full story. I would have liked more on that story, is what I'm saying. Like, I would have liked more on this story. Nobody gets the full story. A popular 19-year-old TikToker died early Saturday after his date was shot at a California movie screening of the Forever Purge, the Corona Police Department said. Riley Goodrich, an 18-year-old woman who was watching the movie with Barajas, B-A-R-A-J-A-S, Barajas, I want to say, at the theater, died of her injuries at the scene. Barajas, who had nearly 1 million followers on TikTok account, it's Anthony Michael. Okay. Anthony Michael. Okay. Had been on life support since Monday's shooting, which police have so far described as an unprovoked attack. He just walked up to him apparently and shot them both in the head several times in the head. And this is another thing. The cops don't fucking do any investigating. I mean, not that you're supposed to know all the shit, right? I don't want to come up and sound like I'm trying to give this guy a break because the cop didn't investigate and he's innocent. Don't think he's innocent. Like I said, there's cops everywhere. You do this dumb shit. They just, when you're gone, they go and they pull up the video of feed of, oh, this is what shooting was, evidence. Oh, this is the guy who ran out. Oh, this is the car he hopped in, evidence, get that plate. Then you go, you see him pull out, he turned left. You go to that stoplight sign, and he's at that light, right? And you just pull up his license plate number, and then you go pick him up at his house in like a half an hour, right? That's not good police work. That's the laziest police work ever. And people still don't do that, right? I mean, everything is there for you. The picture, you just have to go get it. I don't understand people who do this shit, in this environment. Like the grimy places I get because they don't have a lot of cameras and they don't get a lot of police response and people are just fucking, just. But yeah, police arrested an unprovoked attack. Police arrested Joseph Jimenez, 20, on Tuesday. Authorities recovered a firearm from his residence that matched the weapon used in the shooting. Master criminal. He was looking. He was booked on charges of murder and attempted murder and robbery, and was being held on $2 million bail. Here's the thing about the bail system. We're gonna stop right here for a second. You're supposed to be able to afford your bail. I don't care what you did. So, I kill somebody. I'm not a millionaire. Why you give me $2 million bail? What millionaire is going to come out for me and give me $2 million bail, right? But these rich dudes do whatever, and they get bail that they can make because they're rich. The whole show is set up so the rich rule, and no one cared while they were doing this rich white rule over like brown people every place. But it's the system that they go, oh, well, since we're not racist and we've been using it everywhere, it's good for you too, young white guy who's now looking at a $3 million bail. Yeah, congratulations, you're all niggas now. Everybody gets treated like some 1950s cotton picker who are walking cotton, not cotton picker, cotton. What do they call those people? Cotton. The people who pick cotton were, what were they called? I think cotton picker is an insult. What were they called? The people who pick cotton, sharecroppers, right? Cotton, like they were some sharecroppers walking to the next farm. Then the cop would just pick you up and throw you in jail to get free labor. All this stuff that America knows happens and won't acknowledge is while it's telling you that you should acknowledge, the Armenian genocide. Fuck you. Let's, charity begins at home, bitches. Let's remember that. Let's make sure we are streaming every place. Oh my gosh. So we're going to continue this combo, but we want to make sure that we are indeed streaming and we have my bro. 20 years old, killed 2 people. Why? For robbery? I could rob you of your shit and not kill you. And multiple headshots for these people. Why? That's okay. That works. That's on him, right? I mean, there's some that strikes me as some kind of psychological fuckery, and some people get triggered. I've seen white guys get triggered by dudes dating black girls, right? It's a thing in this society. I've seen cops pull over dudes in fancy cars because they want to be assholes to them and the girl they're with. I want to punk you on your date. Is some of this energy that people have. So I see it. You always know the broke people because they're always doing broke people shit. And I don't mean broke, but I don't have any money broke people. I mean broken psychologically, broken, not mentally, but yeah, psychologically. Okay, we can shrink this down. Everything is streaming like it should. Should this return? Do we want more of this story? Do we even want more of this story? This sad ass story. Yeah, I see 3 victims here. One because parental raising, but at that point, like I said, I give partial blame to parents. But he's not off the hook. Fuck him. He's about to do a quadrillion years in jail for killing a young woman and a young guy, trying to do some positive, but just not even trying to do positive, just minding their business. And you interrupt their life like a comet, right? And you snuff them out like dinosaurs were snuffed out with this wild interaction that comes out of nowhere, unseen by all. She dies then. Multiple headshots. Not give me a wallet, snatch it, bang, let the gun go off and run away. And somebody's like, oh my God, he shot me. No, you aimed at this and you took these people out. Nobody's got time for you. In my young days, I was not pro death penalty, and I'll tell you why. I think they only use it on black people, right? I think women can walk into courts after like some dark thing and not deserve it and not get it. The only people who not even women who kill their husbands for money get the death penalty, right? I don't know, man. Police arrested Joseph Jimenez, 20, on Tuesday. Authorities recovered a firearm from his residence that matched the weapon used in the shooting. He was booked on charges of murder, attempted murder, and robbery, and was being held on a $2 million bail. After Barajas' death on Saturday, the Corona Police Department said it was working with District Attorney's Office to add additional charges of first-degree murder against Jimenez. Yeah, that's it. Police said that based on statements from witnesses, there is no known motive and appears to be an unprovoked attack. Bryce and Goodwood were watching a 9:35 p.m. screening of Forever Purge together at the Crossing Mall in Corona on Monday night. Police told reporters at a press conference that they only had 6 tickets. They only hold on, wait a minute. Monday night, police told reporters at a press conference that only 6 tickets have been sold for the screening. You were in a movie theater with 6 other people, right? 6 other people, half of them would be dead or arrested in a day. Half of them would be dead or arrested, yeah, in a day. 6 people in the whole theater. Why would you walk? Why would you even need to walk anywhere near me with all the space? Yeah, he's gonna do so much time. He should get a death penalty. Uh, 6 people in there. So you walked up and 3 other people saw you do this in a dark theater. And they have cameras that can film in a dark theater, so they don't bother you. I mean, my iPhone can take a picture of me fully in the dark, right? Uh, only 6 tickets have been sold for the screening. The film is the fifth installment Purge series, a dystopian action movie horror in which all the violent crimes, including murders, legalized for one day. Right? Police responded to a call for service at the theater at approximately 11:45 p.m., where they both were Barajas and Goodrich. They were approximately service. Okay, 11:45 the call came in, so they probably were shot like 9:35. So he watched the whole movie. Then he watched the whole movie, and as soon as the movie ends, a 2-hour movie, I'm assuming, he shot them after watching The Purge. He's gonna cry mental defect because I was meant to temporarily insane from all this stuff in the movie, like that guy who shot up the Batman screening. So they got a call at 11:45, which something tells me nobody wastes 10 minutes to call the cops, right? Bang, bang, bang! Oh my God, what was that? Somebody called the police, right? And then you get to the phone, 30 seconds, you make the call, it hits the desk, she puts it out. Someone picks up a call like this as soon as they get it, right? Because nobody wants to help the old lady across the street call. Everybody wants the action calls. There's a shooting at so and so. I'm responding Central. We call them Central. I'm responding, and then other people will back you up. So and so is also responding, right? 148 is responding Central. Yeah, 24 Charlie will back up 148. Yeah, 3 David will back up 148. Now it's me and like 2 other cop cars, right? That's the way that generally works. But 2 hours after, wow. Police responded to a call for service at the theater at approximately 11:45, 2 hours after the movie started. So they watched the whole movie, where they found both Barajas and Goodrich with multiple gunshot wounds. Goodrich succumbed to her injuries at the scene, while Barajas was transported to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. This was Monday. He lived for a week. Police have asked for any tips or help from those who were inside the theater, in another theater, or at the shopping center at the time of the shooting. 2 separate GoFundMe campaigns for Barajas and Goodrich have raised more than 60 grand each as of Saturday. Words seem inadequate to express the sorrow felt by the loss of Riley. Her kindness, her gentle spirit will be remembered forever, the GoFundMe page said. Anthony was the light of so many people's lives, and there are tough times ahead. Oh man, that is so true. You're gonna think about these young kids for the rest of your days. You know, look. I'd say I'm a weirdo all the time, but I have a fair amount of empathy in me, and every now and then I think of these people sitting alone, right, with these kids who should have brought home grandkids and jobs, and arguing with them about coming home for Thanksgiving. I think in like 20 years, 30 after this guy is forgotten by everybody but his mother and his father and his brothers and sisters, right? But especially his mother and his father. Oh, just raise your fucking kids better and stop blaming other people for the way their kids turn out. Because I think you could help that situation too. You should want a good education system for everybody and not have it rigged so one group stays in play all the time. This thing is going to come undone on you. I think it's going to come undone fast. I see a lot of people who shouldn't be criminals who are made criminals by this society, and then they lean into it. And then the only thing that wakes them up is jail, because you're not balling in jail. Congratulations, stupid. You played a rigged game. Why? That's why I don't deal with casinos. House always wins. That seems rigged to me. No one's able to go in there and win heavily, and when you do, they can shut the table down. And so to end your winning streak, throw cool water on you. Come back when you're less good so we can loot you. Yeah, I don't know. The whole situation is ridiculous. Many fans as well, which is flooded Baraha's social media account with prayers and tributes. I'll always know Anthony as a dude who would literally go above and beyond to make sure others were welcome. One friend wrote on Instagram, he was truly one of the most kind people I've met in a very hard to come by. He was truly one of the most kind people I've met in LA. Very hard to come by. Goodrich was the owner of Last Extension Business who won a scholarship to Grand Canyon University STEM program. She was home from the summer visiting family when she was killed. So she was smart enough. She was she was smart enough to get a college scholarship. She also was running a business. 18, she was totally consequential, right? She was out there fighting it out, chasing. Yeah, the person who don't raise their kid, that kid will bleach into your life and do damage there, right? And then those parents will go, "Oh, you don't know how hard it is to be a parent." Yeah, shut up. A lot of people just having kids because they got no company, or they don't do any planning. All this, everybody's a single mother. Really, you better be raising doctors and engineers, and not these pieces of shit. And this is exactly what's going on. Everybody's a knucklehead. I once asked somebody, "What's the last book you read?" Because he was talking a lot of craziness. He got really offended by it. And I was like, it's not an offensive question. I didn't ask you, does your mother suck off people on the boulevard? That's an offensive question. What was the last book you read is not an offensive question. Even if you say, man, I ain't read a book in like forever. That's an honest response. Not everybody likes reading. But if you feel bad about someone asking the question, then that's on you. And that question is innocuous. And quite frankly, it's been a while since I read a book. I used to love reading. I haven't read a book in, other than all the perusing I'm doing, and that don't count as a book. When was the last time I read a fucking book? What was the last book I read? I haven't read a book in like the last 6 years. I mean, I've been running since I moved from New York and my dog died and da 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 da. I haven't read a book in like the last. I haven't even gamed heavily in like the last, I want to say 2 years. I used to live on my gaming PC. It is what it is. I need to pick up. Yeah, I need to start reading again. Graphic novels don't count. I've read a ton of them motherfuckers. But yeah, those don't count. Do they count? No, those don't count. You know why they don't count, in my opinion? I will give you a good book that I read. Oh, this is a great book. You got a good read? This is how I got into Terry Pratchett. I was like, yeah, I need a good book to read. Someone was like, oh, you need to read Terry Pratchett. He's great. I was like, what's a Terry Pratchett? They were, and they lent me a book. The Light's Fantastic, I think it was. Super instantly hooked. Burned through that book in like a day. Read it twice that week. It was so good. I used to read on the subway. That's, a super great way to read. If you read on the subway, read in transit. But here, everybody drives, can't read in transit unless someone's driving you, right? But I read a lot of graphic novels. And the thing that I don't include graphic novels is because I don't lend my graphic novels out there. I don't lend comic books out there. So, a great graphic novel, go buy your own. A good book you share with people, right? Yeah, Terry Pratchett books are. If I get back into voraciously reading, it's going to be those. I read a lot of Calvin and Hobbes, not anthologies, but when you get to the whole, it's not an anthology. Isn't it an anthology? Is that book over there? What is it called? Da-da-da-da-da. All right. These are called. Yeah, I guess it don't tell me. The Illusion of Life, Disney animation. I got through, I think, 6 pages of that. 6 pages, 6 chapters of that. I should read the rest of that. But it's hard to read when you're stressed out, and everybody. is focused on wanting the wrong shit, in my opinion. Everything is rapping. All the rappers rap about money. They don't rap about anything else but money. How do you get the money? When they do rap about how you get the money, it's about drugs and drug dealing and robbing people. That's what they rap about. This is perpetually bled into like the community. I've given up on rap music. It's rap music. Hip hop culture is still hip hop culture, but rap music is rap music. I'll tell you my delineation if you think it, and you might find it racist, but that's fine. Hip hop culture is black culture, right? All this other stuff, white rappers and guns, 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 and murder, that's rap music. It's not connected to the people. So, you know, Eminem is rap music. Jay-Z's making rap music, guns, guns, drugs, 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 right? Other people aren't. Other people are making hip hop music, cultural music, right? I love everyday people, right? You can't put them in the same genre. So now rap music is pushed as hate music by BMI. Sue me, I fucking dare you. BMI and ASCAP, where you can call people nigger and they make money off their bottom line. You try and make a rap record calling somebody a kike or a spick or some shit like that. See how fucking far you get. It's outrageous that same corporation is going to go, oh, no. Nigger's fine. It's their culture. What they, right? But then over here, it's absolutely no. You know what I mean? Absolutely not. Outrageous. You must go. You're fired or whatever they do to you. What's the difference? The fuck out of here with the bullshit. So yeah, you make these people. It's outrageous. And he's 20. You broke him in how long? Look, it takes 5 years to raise a kid, 5 to 7 years to, 5 to 7 years to raise a kid that goes on remote control. And by that, I don't mean like a 5-year-old can go get a job and get a car. I mean, if you make him a mean person, he's a mean, shifty 5-year-old who will grow up into a mean, shifty 30-year-old. If you make him hardworking and enthusiastic, he'll be a hardworking, enthusiastic 30-year-old. Stop blaming. A lot of this is people sticking their kids in front of television sets and letting the Xbox and everything over the last 20 years, I said on other podcasts, is dystopian this. He was killed watching a fucking dystopian movie, right? About the end of America, quite frankly, where murder is legal. What? So you grew up with that movie. There's that's the reason, the Purge ones, but there's also the one with the bow and arrow girl, right? There's that one. That's a dystopian world. They made 5 of those, I think. It's just, look, in the 70s, the version of this was all these gun movies, guns everywhere. Meanwhile, Hollywood's talking about, you know, freedom and for everybody, but they're essentially making gun movies. Then when the gun thing gets crazy, they're like, hey, we just make art. We don't know what you're talking about. You're not making a Merchant of Venice. You're making fucking violent bullshit gun movies with titties out, super objectified women. When the MPAA code essentially was overturned, right? And it was overturned, I want to say, in the mid-60s due to all the social uprising of black people going, where I take, there was a lot, and it affected a lot of other things, so especially how they made movies. So before the 60s, there was no nudity, there was no men and women lying in bed together. But then all of a sudden, by the time the movies came out, women were topless and dudes were just shooting dudes in the face. There was all, and it killed off Westerns, right? So and Western became less and less popular because, what do they call it? Police crime fiction movies? What do they call those things? Now on TV, they call them police procedurals. They're not procedurals. The first 20 years of LA Law had that the big white cop throwing people up against the wall and opening. I'm like, this is not police work. It's not. And I was a cop when it was on. It was vile to me. What power do I have? So now you have a society who hate the cops, and I hate to say it, but rightly so. You let the cops be fucking overseers for forever. And now you're acting like none of that happened. Now you're wondering why this boy turned out to be this man, right? And he affected 2 people who had no drama with anybody, just trying to do the best at what their goals were, and they were on it. He was trying to be a TikTok internet person. Here we go. And she was running a business at 18. She was running a small, successful business. And he kills them both. What did he rob them of, though? I mean, this is what I mean by a shifty story. If it was a robbery, tell us what he stole. If it wasn't a robbery, if it was jealousy, tell us why it was jealousy. If you don't know, that's fine. Tell us you don't know. But they don't tell you anything really, and everything is just sort of like a hit job on whoever they said it is. So for all we know, we haven't heard from them, right? There's been people let out of jail. The cops came. They blamed me. Everybody. It was in the paper. Oh, this guy did it. Right? It's never, did he do it? What could? And then when you let him out 30 years, not this guy. He's obviously guilty. Well, knock on wood, you don't know if he's obviously guilty. But those guys who they keep letting out of jail, you know, I always say, why don't you go look at the cops? So what did the cops do? What did the judge do? What did we don't want to do that. We just want to rubber stamp like American justice is infallible, as long as we white, rich lawyers are in charge. And those people run America. The lawyers in business, the lawyers in government allow each other to steal from all of us. And I said a couple of years ago, what black people need, everybody needs to be either a lawyer or a legal aid before we're anything else. Because when the cops pull us off, you need to go, no, under the statute of X, I'm fine. And there's a camera rolling, right? It's just all this, we know dirty tricks that you don't know. So now in order to get out from under it, instead of marching around in circles, which you've been doing for 70 years, you need to do something else. And, you know, we, the black community, like I said, this show's about learning guitar and doing other stuff. It's always from a black perspective. I'm not going to tell you anything from a Jewish perspective, a woman's perspective, handicap. We used to use handicap. Do we use handicap anymore? I remember they tried to make everybody use handy capable. And I was like, I'm not saying that. That sounds ridiculous. But what do they call it now? I know it's not handicapped anymore. But I'm not saying that, you know, like a wheelchair person. People have different needs, right? And in the society, you should make sure, for one, why aren't there fucking ramps everywhere? Why? Because you don't see, I live in Virginia Beach, a military town. There's a ton of wheelchair placards on license plates. There's a super bunch of parking for handicapped people all over the place. Never taken, right? There's even so many that, there's more space here than like where I'm from. But there's also spaces for, what do they call the highest medal we give to military people? Purple Heart winners, right? See the placard? And you can get the Purple Heart on your car. But, you know, there's also spacing for women with children. I love that, right? It looks, even in here in the South, I mean, sometimes they do shit right, but sometimes they ignore the blatant obvious. You know what I'm talking about. But I always take the women parking spot because it's right next to the thing. And I've been doing it since I lived here 5 years. Never a word, never a comment about it. I never take the military parking. I never take the handicap parking. All right. The society needs to tighten up. And like I said, I don't know if I think we're Cuba. I think the fall is coming. You let all these people in here who want the money that America generates, but don't want the freedom for themselves, but then they want to attack people, right? You should have put an end to this whole fucking racist bullshit a long time ago, right? And my philosophy now, an eye for an eye. You roll on me, I'm rolling on you, right? And that's the way it should be. Versus I'm going to go protest so the police can do. The police don't like you, and most of the cops are Klansmen. And you should believe that. Yeah, you should absolutely. If you believe that this is unfair, you should believe all these judges and all these cops are Klansmen, and you should be doing something against falling into their hands or having them have anything to do with your life. If you believe that, that's what you'd be doing. But if you believe that and you're not doing anything, then what are you doing? Right? You know what I'm saying? If you believe that the men are reckless at work and keep touching women, being inappropriate, if you believe that, what are you doing at work to stem it? Or are you just waiting for it to be your turn? You know what I'm saying? I mean, we disrespect these kids regularly so we can grow up and arrest them in 20 years. And a lot of it is with help from the parents because, look, I grew up in a tough neighborhood, right? And my parents told me, and my brother, I think more told me because I was a little more adventurous, my brother, and my brother was a little more studious than I was. But he told me, if you get arrested, don't come back here. And I was only doing graffiti. Right? And I said, okay. Flipping as I was at 16, 17, right? But then I was like, if I did get arrested, who the fuck am I going to call? You know what I mean? I could call my aunt because she said not because she just called my parents anyway. I'm going to have to call my parents. right? It was really it was one of the wisest things my father ever did for me, right? He let me know this is the standard, this is the line. We do a lot in this world. We know it's unfair, but you committing crimes in this is not the mode. It's not what this family does. You better fix your shit. Essentially, he didn't say it like that, but essentially that was the thing. And it wasn't a half-hour conversation. It was like hey, Sean, come here, because he knew I was up to something. Get arrested, don't call here. We ain't coming to get you. And I'm like, yeah, all right. Now I went about my business. At that time, me and my father had some ice, like chasms between us, because the boys and their dads. And then I got chased. My man Busy B. And then I was like, yeah, maybe I'll stick my art to art books and all this stuff. But running around with guns, like I said, I'd rather beat your ass or get my ass beat by you than fucking shoot it out with you in a public place with women and children all over the place. This is not the movies. And people raise people to think that, I'll just do this, not get away. Nobody's going to snitch on me. Nobody's going to... Look, man, the environment is shitty. It is shitty. And you make it shitty. You're a giant nugget in this shit soup. And you didn't have to be. Now you get to be king of cell block, whatever. And no one ever comes out of jail. I've met a couple of people who went to jail for a while and came out. No one ever tells you, oh, yeah, I had to wash dishes and, I was raped in the shower. No one ever tells you that. They'll always come out as the man. I wish more people would tell you that, even if it wasn't true, to stop people from fucking glorifying like this tough guy bullshit life. Because the first thing that they all do is they all rat each other out anyway. Oh, no, I was in the car. And they rat each other out in ways that implicate them in all sorts of shit. No, I didn't go in. I was in the car. Oh, so you were waiting. That makes you a party to this whole thing. And some people just do evil shit. I remember one case I heard about. I didn't, but the guy ran in and robbed the store and ran back in the car, hopped in the car, and the guy, what the fuck did you do? And then the cops called them both, and they both went to jail. And the guy was like, man, he picked me up. I don't even know. I had no, the guy had, judges don't care. Not trying to solve it. You're obviously master criminals. It's a warehousing conveyor belt of racial bullshit, right? And then on top of that, you're going to raise somebody to play into unfair hands like this. Why would you do that to your children? And 20 years later, you're not going to get to see them anymore. Congratulations, parent of the year. Right? And why would you want to? He just killed an 18 and a 19-year-old. For what? Trinkets, a gold coin, in a room full of people. You master criminal. In a land full of cameras. Took them 24 hours to get you at your house. Didn't have to look for you anyplace. They knocked on your door and there you were. Huh? Or what? Outrageous. I'm obviously started. Excuse me. Jesus. So yeah. I got all kinds of problems with some of these people. I'm no longer an ally to a lot of these people. So they can go kick rocks. When I needed them, they were nowhere to be found. And trust me, in the midterms, they're going to have the same problem. Trying to get you to keep them in power so they can chill hard, but do nothing for you. And now people are just kind of like, nah, I'm done with these fucking people. I'm out of smokables. Ugh, that's not good. All right, so that was quite a story, and it took a while to tell. Look, I don't know you. I don't know your kids. But you got to make sure, and don't be paranoid, man. When kids want to run, you can't raise them in a box, but you can give them enough good common sense to go, I don't like that dude. I'm not going anywhere near him. I had a lot of that in high school, especially when everybody started selling crack. I was like, even if I wasn't selling, I'm not even hanging out with you. Hanging out with you is just against my zone, my code, right? Whatever little code I had back then, was not doing it. And then people would hang out with people who weren't drug dealers, and they would get picked up. You know, Bob, you hang out, you're part of his crew. Nah, we just know each other because we grew up together. Nope, they don't care. So I get very respectful of the drug dealers in their game. What's up, man? Peace. Yeah, we went to school together. I like him. What's up? And then other people are like, who that? Because now everybody's parrying him. Oh, that's Sean. He lives down the street. I know. Oh, okay. But now people that I don't know are all paranoid because they all got guns. They're all waiting for somebody. It's a shitty life. Knew a guy who robbed a numbers hall, and then they found him a couple of weeks later, shot in the head in JFK in the trunk. Car had been there for like 5 days. The cops opened, there he was. You know everybody in the hood. Everybody knows you did it. Some people are savage and pieces of shit. And I do believe that some people are sitting in jail now for murders have killed other people before. I really do. The idea that no one talks in the community is shame of the community. Get these shit sticks out of there, away from your daughters and your sons. And you're not brave enough to do that. But you're also not brave enough to come out and march in any real numbers. Everybody's just sort of giving up. I think the next wave of and they keep attacking wokeness. They don't want you to be woke. So every time you hear any, I hate to say it, but white guy like Bill Maher is on a rage against wokeness, and some of these other minorities like Saga and Jetty is on a but wokeness means don't be taken advantage of by these people. Know what's going on around you. If you're walking down that country road and you know that they put black people walking down this country road in jail for life so they can work for free, why are you walking down that country road? Why are you not dipping into the woods when you see a car company? That's being woke versus being got. They would rather have you be got. Begotten. Yeah, so I mean, it's not hard to know who's doing what. What it is hard to do is move against them, quite frankly. And moving against them means the bullshit philosophy you tell me about myself and my people, I'm not buying. Right? I know why people steal. It's a game of access to things. It's a game of resources, and you keep those away so people are not going to politely starve them. There was a movie called, why are we on this topic? There was a movie called SunDay, right? And it's about this guy, this sharecropper who steals a chicken for his family, and they give him like 40 years for it. This riddled shack kind of Mississippi 30s, and that's what they do. So, you know, fix it or shut up about it. Yeah. Oh man, look at how cloudy it is. What is the weather going to be? Is it going to rain? Is it going to rain?
It's going to rain in the morning starting at 8 a.m., with rain continuing into the late night.
Is it going to rain?
It's going to rain in the morning starting at 8 a.m., with rain continuing into the late night.
So it's going to rain in the morning with rain continuing to. So why don't you just say it's going to rain all day? And they're talking about 8 minutes. That's 8 minutes. They're talking about 8 minutes. That's 4 minutes from now. Don't even get me. Sometimes I don't even get me. It starts at 8 o'clock, and that's 4 minutes from now. It starts in 8 minutes, and that's 4 minutes from now. Pretty good. All right. What a day, man. What a freaking day. Already, what a day. Y'all who do not know me, there's nothing better than watching a rainstorm come in. And when it rains, it sounds like bacon frying. I love that. And it's the best time, in my opinion, to do laundry and to clean up. Rain, oh man. The reason why I could not live in the Pacific Northwest was because I wouldn't be doing anything in all the rain. I like the rain, but I don't like it so much that it rains every day or whatever, right? But I could live someplace where, I don't know, it rains 7 days out of the month. That would be fucking awesome. But landslides, water saturation, that's a problem in rainy areas, right? Uh, Los Angeles has the opposite problem. Trying to put these fires out, you might as well be pissing on them, right? Putting it out with a Dixie cup of water. They're miles and miles and miles high. They're burning ridiculously. They're cooking like not livestock. They're livestock too, but they're cooking like other animals who inhabit this place. The only people who can apparently can get away are the birds, right? Maybe it'll burn for the next 10 years. What will California look like then? Wow. So yeah, we went in on that conversation about this guy. She was visiting from college when she was killed. So wrong. Oh, victims were on a first date. Yeah. So for your first date, you took a girl to see, well, it is their generation. I would take a girl to see what? An action movie, a popular movie? I guess that was both of those. Sad shit, baby. Do it for the people you care about. Florida woman urges people to get vaccinated. See, so now CNN is pushing all these people who were like, I don't want a vaccination. Then they look for people who got sick and lost people so they can put them on the cover and go, see? And they're looking for those people in southern states where people aren't being vaccinated. So there's even an angle with this push for the vaccination. But I will say this about this, people. It's a fucking pandemic. Look up what a pandemic is and then get back to me. You know what I'm saying? Now you're shocked that your husband and your brother is lost, but they didn't want to get vaccinated. America, baby, freedom. That's on you. I don't feel bad about it. I don't. I had my protocol. I was like, man, I don't trust this virus. I'm going to give this shit a year and a half. Let other people take it. And after a year and a half, was it a year and a half? March. Yeah. It was not after a year. We're coming up on a year and a half. After a year, I got vaccinated, right? I wore a mask every place. I did the CDC thing. I didn't try and stand in there. And when I stand and somebody comes stand 3 feet next to me, I move. I'm not getting into an argument. Yo, man, 6 feet, get away. I'm not even getting into an argument with you. You can have the land. I'll stand over here. You know what I'm saying? I haven't got a flu or cold. Knock, knock, God bless. But I'm still wiggy about it. Like I said, I'm a smoker and I'm unfit. I'm unhealthy. And I don't think I'm in the bracket to have a bad interaction with it. But the older you get, the more bad interactions you have, right? So out of 100,000 in my age bracket, I think 3 or something like that, 3 point something. It's less in for 20s and 30s and 0.0 something for like teeny. But then it goes up to like 1 and 2. And like I'm like 20. I forget what the number is for older people. But I think it's like 10, 15, maybe 20 for if you're over like 75 and 80 and so they gave you this weird breakdown. But some people aren't healthy. Some people have asthma. Some people have all sorts of things. And you're going to go up there, I don't need a vaccine, and I'm a pinhead tough guy asshat, right? Shooting people in these places because they ask you to put on a mask, right? These are the same people who drive over Black Lives Matter marks and sneak around like the Klan did for all this time. I'm fully for finding them. You're a sneaky son of a bitch. Fuck you. You can't even stand by what you say unless you're like 6'4" and you're talking to somebody who's 5'1", right? Or there's a bunch of you with fucking AR-15s at someone's peaceful rally. America let this shit get out of hand, Yeah, I'm waiting for the next peaceful rally where everybody's got guns to set this shit off. Here in Virginia, yeah. There's I want to say there's the Proud Boys, and there's also Black Lives Matter 757, and those fuckers are armed. So they always have pressers together because they know what the drama is, right? And it's about one set. So it's not about. It's about guns, right? It's about you're right, the carry a gun. So they've managed to go all this other stuff that we're not going to agree on. We're going to let go, and we're going to have respectful dialogue between each other. And our only thing is about this thing, which is gun rights, because they're both out here with our AR-15s and our fucking Glocks and our, okay, that's fine. But they're not out here going, I mean, yeah, don't show up to people's rallies with your AR-15, because I'm going to show up to your rally with my AR-15, and then it's going to get really interesting. And it won't just be me. Don't get goofy. There'll be a line of 20 of those fuckers with AR-15. So the next time, 500 guys should show up with the AR-15s at your rally. And they don't ever really have rallies. They just always hate something. They're always protesting you to do something. Right? They don't want the cops reined in. Fuck you. You're essentially arguing that the cops should be able to kill whoever they want. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. So we'll see how it goes. Good Lord, I've got too much stuff going in. I need to somehow wash this. Can I take this off? Yeah, I guess I can. If I untie it, I can throw this in the washer, which is going to happen. We've been streaming for an hour. We have yet to pick up the guitar. We did a little Sunday news reading. Let's try and leave you with some happy stuff. Yeah, get the fucking COVID shot. I mean, shame on you. Your parents shouldn't have to tell you. Father and son. All right. "100-year-old former death camp guard to go on trial in Germany." Okay, this is another unpopular opinion I have. How old was this guy? Okay, the war ended in 1944, right? We're shy of 2000. We're shy of 70 years by, I want to say, 2 years. So if he's 100, he was 30. My question then becomes about a lot of, because every year you find it and you go, I get the guys who are in leadership making, but at this point, what leadership could he have had if he was a 30-year-old in the Nazi army, right? And I think a lot of these guys are just used as, hey, look, I can't believe it. I mean, some of them obviously, but I think the older you get, the less of them you have. And then you find somebody who signed up at 18 and had this posting, and then you get them 70 years later and go, look at this piece of shit. Because you're like, look, if you're in leadership, if you're a captain who runs this thing and people are dying, yeah, totally snatch you up. If you're one of these violent pieces of shit guards who beat people, yeah, snatch him up. But now you have to tell me that this guy has a history of that, other than just being there and in the army. And nobody wants to do that. No one wants to do that. Let me guess. This is the part where Bill Maher says Tokyo Olympics are outwoking the Oscars. I'm sick of Bill Maher. Bill Maher has become a cynical old man who's yelling, "Get off my lawn." He was sort of relevant, but he's not relevant anymore. He's not. And he's essentially agreeing with a lot of Democratic opposition. Did you see what he said about Eric Adams? I'm on this channel telling you why Eric Adams was the best choice for New York City mayor, and I've been doing it since we started this, and I've been doing it on other podcasts. Bill Maher said when he was running before he won, he didn't say fuck this guy, but he was like, he was not for it. He was for Andrew Yang, and he was for, and then when Andrew Yang lost, Then he was for the sanitation commissioner, whose name I forget, that he'd never known of. And I only know barely because I once lived in New York, right? And he was for them. So essentially, he was for the Democratic push, whatever the Democratic push was. And he said some snotty shit about Eric Adams being a cop and da-da-da-da, right? He just called him a cop like he was a police captain. So you denigrated his work for all those years going from a patrolman to a cop. And then you get him on your show and you're like, the more I read about you, man, I love this fucking guy. Why didn't you read about him before when you were saying all this shit? Bill Maher is so fucking not for real. It's just fucking incredible. You should, and this is what my thing. Look, I always monitor you. So I liked you at one point, but when you go off the rails, I pull support from you. People don't do that. I pulled support from Hillary Clinton. I'm still getting heat. Hillary Clinton, I don't know what she was ever, but now she's not a good player. Why are you bigging her up, knowing her issues, knowing her issues at the cost of everybody else? So now the midterms are going to come. She had better keep her fucking mouth shut, because every time she opens her stupid face, whoever she endorses loses. Loses. It says that people are tired of her. That's what that says. Welcome to where I'm sitting. I've been here for a while. Let's turn off the lights on this stupid phone. An empty square is seen at the former Nazi concentration camp in Sachsenhausen on the 75th anniversary of the liberation by the Soviet and U.S. troops during the spread of the coronavirus disease. A 100-year-old former guard for the Sachsenshire Nazi concentration camp near Berlin will face trial in autumn. 76 years after the trial ended. So he would have been 24. How much power do you have at 24? We don't care. We just want fucking... America loves a mob and loves a hanging, and we're still doing it. We don't care what the fucking rules are. We want him hung from... Look, if you can get this guy arrested, you've got power in America. You've got power wherever you are, right? This is the news. It's amazing. So then when some 24-year-old Marine comes and goes, I don't want to do this, how are you going to put him up on charges for disobeying orders and all this shit? Right? Look, the captains and the lieutenants who give these bad orders who do, but I don't know. I really don't know about this one. And especially what was his assignment. Like I said, if he was 24 years old, clubbing people and raping people, yeah. But have some proof that he did that versus just being in the army. I've had this conversation with Jews in New York before. They didn't like my assessment of it. And this was back when they were trying to get rid of that Dim Jamyuk guy who was living in Detroit after being a Nazi guard. I was like, first of all, America, why'd you let him in here? Now you're getting rid of him after 60 years of him being in America, right? How did he get here in the first place? Ugh, just vile. He killed American soldiers. Now he's living here, eating hot dogs and going to 4th of July barbecues. What? It's outrageous. He's not the only one who you should. I think he becomes the red herring of, oh, we're going to deal with this guy. Look at, but you don't deal with the symptom why he's here, and it's a much wider thing. I mean, you brought the Nazi rocket scientist here, made him the first head of NASA, bought him a giant house and put him up here on the government dime, while you killed off citizens who fought for your army, while you killed them off here. What does America stand for? America stands for elite oligarchy, right? Which is a very clever way of telling everybody that they have freedom until you need it, right? I can't say shit about coronavirus on YouTube without them taking my freedom of speech away. A private company. Yeah, that's not a lie. 100-year-old from second wave. The District Court of Neuruppin admitted the charge of accessory to murder. Okay. In 3,500 cases. Really? Okay. And the trial is slated to start in October. The defendant should be able to stand trial for 2 to 2.5 hours a day. The court was not available for comment. The accused was not named in accordance with the German media laws encouraged concerning suspects. Okay. Was said to have worked as a camp guard from 1942 to 1945 in Sachsenhausen, where around 200,000 people were imprisoned and 20,000 murdered. Okay. While the number of suspects in Nazi crimes is dwindling, obviously, Prosecutors are still trying to bring individuals to justice. A landmark conviction in 2011 cleared the way to more prosecution as working in the concentrated camp was for the first time found to be ground for culpability with no proof of a specific crime. So if you were there, we can just charge you with everybody's murder. Where else was he fucking gonna be if, oh my God, I mean, the way that people railroad you while talking about being a democracy and having laws isn't even fucking, it's, well, here for us black people in America, it's never been clever. But now it's just blatantly corrupt. This is bullshit. What should he have done? How does he not be there? You should have to make sure that you know he did something. We don't have to make sure anybody did anything. We're the fucking law. 90-year-old men for press releases and all this shit. Some people have just, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what a Chris Wu is. Mom whose family permitted relationship between a 12-year-old and 23-year-old arrested. I would hope so. After girl gives birth. Yeah, arrest them. Idiots. I watched Cuba crumble from the inside. Stop telling me about Cuba. Right? Then they came here and insisted that America do Cuban. They were running Cuban operation out of Florida. Why'd you let these people do any of that shit? Outrageous. America is just a bunch of segmented societies. The only thing that works for everybody apparently is the military. But at this point, you couldn't get me to vote. Like I said this before. I have friends I talk politics with them all the time. Love them to death. But my whole thing is I'm not joining any groups. Especially I'm not joining any groups that anybody. Trump ranked 82nd. Trump raked in 82 million in first half of 2021. Has more than 100 million in the bank. Yeah, he should be the nominee. How is he not the de facto nominee? Sitting politicians are wanting to be the de facto nominee. There's this perpetual ring on the internet about Trump bad. Okay, all right, fine. But I also know that the media is in bed with politicians and they lie, right? So tell me the crime. You're going to investigate him for 4 years and then not do anything so you can keep him in the press as a bad agent. You say all this stuff about him. He can't defend himself, right? Because he's not on Twitter. Nobody's asking for interviews. So then he goes and talks to a few people like this CPAC thing, and then you ridicule that, right? It's like me saying the cops are unfair and the media going, of course criminals are going to say that the cops are unfair. They have a bias on this thing already. Under our system, Trump is the de facto nominee. The last president is the de facto nominee. The last president gets two semesters, 2 terms, then the de facto nominee is the vice president. Unless he stands out, then it's sort of a free-for-all. All of a sudden, the country doesn't work the way the country works because people need to sell you a bill of goods, right? I'm not buying. And man, I just see Americans get stupider and stupider every day. They say dumb shit and they do stupid shit. And you're just sitting here like, what kind of logical person does that? What kind of person with any sort of mental capacity that you sort of try and grow good common sense in their mental state when they're young kids would do anything like that? People who grow up raised by TV do shit like this, right? And that's what you see a lot of. And then all of a sudden when they get caught, I said it before, I've never heard any woman say, man, I shouldn't have got that divorce. I really like that guy, right? I've heard guys go, man, I should have worked hard at my divorce. But they built this infallibleness into some groups, and I think women have them. I would love to hear a woman go, I really regret I love my ex and blah, 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 blah. Here comes the wind. It's so good. It's so good. 8:15, baby bubba. Just honesty is out the window. You can't even acknowledge your failures, right? And then there's the whole thing about doing stuff. You don't win all the time. Sometimes you fail. And when you fail, no one acknowledges their failure. It's always someone else's fault. I will say this about Simone Biles, though. She goes there, then she drops out of 3 events in like a day. I don't understand that. And if you're that mental, why are you in the Olympics? But everything is, women are also crying about the uniforms they wear. Here's the thing. I've gone through this before, and I've had this conversation with women in the bar before too. Men do not make women's clothing. Old white women and gay men make women's clothing. So for you to sit up here and go, to what these men put these women in is outrageous. It's not the truth. It's not the truth, right? All these places are designed by famous fashion houses. You know, I don't know what to tell you. I don't really know what to tell you. So they're like, oh, women. Well, I saw one that women have problems. It was like tearing suits and something and periods. I was like, you mentioned periods in this. All women have a period. What you can if that's it, you can throw that in anything. Taking the bus to work. Oh, I have to wait for the bus, and some mom is late, and I have my period. Right? You could make it anything. I have to go shopping, and then I have my. You're like, what? And it's at this point where you can't even go, hey, lady, that's a stupid argument, because then all of a sudden you're mansplaining. So there's all these kind of things to sort of shut you down without actually having to defend your argument, right? Like in the 60s and long before the 60s, there was a term in the South that they told the white people, right? Who were like, man, I don't think you need to fucking go and harass that black family. I've known him forever. They don't bother anybody. What are you a nigger lover, Bob? Huh? And that what are you, a nigger lover, was a key to you listening that we'll burn your fucking house down too. Oh, hey, no. I'm not. That's why I think the racism is so virulent here, because you either chased off or killed enough white people too, which we don't hear about, to cement this thing. And now passive people who aren't aggressive, who lived in the South, were like, oh yeah, no, all right, it's cool. I don't want, yeah, dog. And then other people who weren't racist bought that land for dollars and corrupt sheriffs and yeah. So don't blow smoke up my skirt about how things got to be this way. And you freeze a good conversation out with this whole you're mansplaining or you hate, I'm just kind of like, oh. Millions of tenants at risk as federal eviction ban ends. They're going to throw so many people out on the street. I drive around here. I see people with placards, homeless vet, help me, da-da-da-da. First of all, you shouldn't be a homeless vet. America gives a straight ton of money to the military. They get home loans and da-da-da-da. All ex-military people get socialism. As a matter of fact, I would recommend you go join the military for the 4-year minimum. I think when I was a kid, it was 3 years. 4-year minimum. And then have them pay for your college and get your house loan and da-da-da-da. Yeah. And watch out, if all these people join to do that and there's no war, they're going to start throwing you out of the military and denying you some of these benefits. I mean, generals make a ton of money. You don't hear about it because everybody loves it, but generals make a fucking straight ton of money. So, yeah. Come on, all this. I don't know anything about what's going on with the. Oh, wait, hold on. I wanted to see if I could find that thing where it said women have it hard. They have to wear leotards. And I'm like, this is not on men. And look, I'll tell you, women, this is America, where I'm talking to you from. Women here are complaining about men all the fucking time. Right? This is not Syria. This is not Iran. You can drive, you can vote, you can fucking divorce when you want, you can have kids with a husband or without, you can abort that kid if you wanna. What are you complaining about the men for? Because I need something to complain about. And I think a lot of this shifty behavior also stops, quote unquote, honest women, right, from getting into it with some of these bad practices. I would love to hear one group of women debate it out with another group of women about this shit versus me having to do it. And then being hit with you're a sexist, how convenient for you, then I'm a sexist. You're a mansplainer or a manspreader or whatever. And some of this is just sexist anyway. It's like me going, I'm not talking to you, you're a woman, right? What do women know? Or that kind of, it's the same energy. Men are sexist, so we don't have to know. No, did you hear what he said? He made a good point. What is your comeback for that? We don't need a good point because we say he's mansplaining. That ends the argument, and we get to be right and move on. You know, there's a lot of what were we calling them last summer, Karens, right? Emmett Till was killed by Karen. She essentially got like under a lie, got a statement up and had them kill this boy who was 12, right? It's not very much different than people calling the cops on innocent people and they ending up dead. And then when people like, we want to hear that call, all of a sudden the police department's like, we don't want to throw shade on people calling the police, so we're not going to release it. That call led to the murder of somebody. The American government suppresses murder and has a giant history of suppressing murder. Ooh, the wind is blowing nicely. Let's see if we can get. Look at that bend. Can you see that? Candace just glows. It's the flickering flicker of flickerness. Real estate is booming. Yeah, for the rich. Everybody can't live in a gated community. I'm telling you, people are not going to be happy to watch their children starve so you can own all this land and not pay taxes and fucking start wars all over the place. And that is where we are. Hollywood slams Disney. Oh, so what? Look, listen, here's your problem, Scarlett Johansson. Your movie was not good and people did not see it, and you can't really blame Disney. Look, a lot of women don't carry movies. They're world famous, but they're not giant movie stars of anything. What was the last movie you saw with Scarlett Johansson in it? Right? I hate to say it, but the way the action movies work, generally men carry action movies, and the ones that you make with women, the majority of people sit there and go, I mean, suspension of disbelief is great, right? But there was a lot of suspension of disbelief in that movie. A billionaire in an iron suit and a god with a hammer and an alien with green skin, and it's the suspension of disbelief. But even in all that suspension of disbelief, you have a character with no superpowers and 2 guns. What? The lamest thing ever. Even the other guy who had no powers, Ant-Man, could shrink, right? And then his powers, his power was essentially his energy stayed the same, right? So if I could lift, let's say 200 pounds now, then I put on the Ant-Man suit and I'm this big, I can still lift up 200 pounds, right? It's not like my power decreases to the size of that amp. And which was weird, when you get giant, his strength increases, which didn't make any sense. It should have stayed the same. He should have been, but all these kind of things. There's a lot of people who are like, oh, the world is sexist for not going to see Ghostbusters with those women in it. And I was like, you can't blame people to get them to go, like you're gaslighting people to go see a movie that no one had any interest in any money making. And they tell you like a year before it's out, oh, so-and-so was signed to do this movie. And some people go, oh, I can't wait for that to come out. And some people go, this is going to be shit. So now you have a second Ghostbusters movie, I want to say 3 years after the last Ghostbusters movie with all the ladies in it. And we'll see how it does. Right, because that has Paul Rudd, Ant-Man in it. Let's see if that flops. Remember when this happens with boy bands too, right? NSYNC had 5 guys in it. I think only one guy is. Which one is Justin Timberland from NSYNC or 9 Degrees or Bye 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 or what? I don't know the name of boy bands, but you know what I'm saying. The other 4 of them are still rich. God bless them. They're still living in giant houses. They spent their teen years wisely, but some people are the populace takes to some people more than other people. And I think that's what it is with this, right? So, for instance, what's the drug addict guy who played Iron Man, right? He didn't have any kids. He's sort of like a utility actor, kind of. But some people, no matter what they do, people go see. I want to say Clooney is one of these people. Brad Pitt is one of these people. Movie stars, right? They are actors and they are movie stars. So yeah, I just think it was a movie that people just kind of like, yeah, all right. And it wasn't even one of the best characters. So I don't know. Mad at people because they don't want to go see your movie. Ugh, I don't really care. But yeah, you couldn't tell me a movie that Scarlett Johansson was in that I was like, oh yeah, that's great. And don't get me wrong, she's done some dramas. She's been around. We know she can act. We know she's a popular actress in Hollywood, but the idea that someone's going to spend $300 million on your movie and it does poorly, you can't blame the people who didn't go see it. But you got to do something, because the next time you'll get less money, and then you're gone. But apparently she made $20 million for that movie. So it is what it is. Howard the Duck. Right? And you better watch it. Remember what Billie Eilish looked like before versus what she looks like now. All right? She made her album in her bedroom with her green hair, her green and black hair. All of a sudden she gets to Hollywood and now she's got to be half naked and alluring and all blonde. You'll sell more copies if you look like somebody that everybody wants to bang. I'm an artist. Yeah, but you'll make more money. Okay, maybe I should be bangable. So then she's instantly selling you sex. And when you go, oh man, she's hot, all of a sudden everybody is mad at you for mentioning what is, they obviously worked you up to be. Gymnasts, U.S. Mexico bring their building gymnasts. Where is that stupid thing about women's clothing in the Olympics? I was just kind of like, his campaign is over, but Trump's political groups are still spending. They cannot stop talking about Trump. They really can't. Yeah, I think this is one of those things that's going to blow up in the face of America. And first of all, I'd say Trump is not going to jail. You're not going to put Trump in jail. It's not going to happen. You're not going to have a former president with state secrets sitting in general population, right? You're not going to sequester him to his house. If he leaves, what are you going to do? Put him in general? None of that shit's happening. This is all a ploy to control his kids and go, we will fucking indict your kids if you run for president. Here's the thing. If he runs for president, he's got a good chance of winning. He can just pardon them, right? The leverage here is really funny. And it's all coming from these sycophants, these pod people, Democratic functionaries like Letitia James. There's a lot going on in New York, and she's obsessed with Donald Trump, right? It's your chance to look into the police and fix some of these. But she's not doing that. She's a Clintonite. And so is Maya Wiley. I said it before, and I'll say it again. The Democratic Party owns black women outright. Black women will openly vote against their men to rise in the Democratic Party. Right? There's a handful of black people that you absolutely fucking can't trust. Nothing is better, but they want your vote. They really just think, hey, look, they'll love us because we're here and we're famous and we're from their neighborhood. You're not from my neighborhood and I don't know you. No, I'm not voting for Hillary Clinton, idiots. And then you want to blame me because she lost? Remember when she lost, the first thing she did was blame black people. Remember that? Black people didn't come out to vote for Hillary like they came out. Yeah, we didn't, because we know you and you suck. So we have been streaming for an hour and a half. We have yet to pick up the guitar. Aunt arrested after niece and nephew bodies found in her car. What, you didn't think your family was going to miss their niece and their nephew? See you in jail. Bye. It really is just, the whole environment it gets goofier and goofier and goofier. It's one reason why I don't talk politics anymore with people. Two men who allegedly discussed crime on Facebook Messenger charged with armed robbery. Yeah, idiot. Florida woman arrested after being accused of locking autistic child in a metal and wood cage. Yeah, these are the people, and then those kids get bigger. And they have this thing. Like I always say, look, especially when kids do something bad to their parents and they get arrested, I'm always like, why? What kind of home life did that kid did that kid have as a child? Right? These are the things that you're supposed to care the most about. Run around, murder everybody in the world, but leave your parents alone, right? Is generally the aesthetic if you're a crazy person. But you hate your parents. Why? Just because you have I hate my parent gene? I don't know. Nobody wants to stand up next to their kid when that kid has done evil. M. Night Shyamalan has a new movie out? How did I miss this? Florida breaks records. All right, Florida is going to be a giant COVID lamp It's just gonna be glowing from the moon. But hey, it is what it is. Why can't I find this stupid thing? Yeah, here it is. For years, no, here's one of them exactly. For years, female athletes have had their clothing policed. Now they're fighting back. Oh yeah, because men make women wear what exactly? You can walk out of here with your ass cheeks hanging out. In New York, you can walk around topless. What are the men? It's always someone to blame for you to get your ire up at. It's never, you know. All the black women in the U.S. are tired, but the black men are fine. It's always this gender fucking split game. All right, that's fine. Tokyo games went on, but American viewers aren't coming. Yeah, I didn't watch any of it either. COVID grows in Kansas. COVID, the Russians hacked us yesterday. Minorities struggle for headway in the legal weed game. Yeah, the place is just unfair. We should stop being surprised by the unfairness. And like I said, it wasn't about, I want to be included in white society. That was not the civil rights movement. The civil rights movement was leave us alone. We'll do it ourselves. Keep your fucking shitty cops away from us and your shitty bankers away from us. And we'll start our towns and open our banks and open our hospitals. And every turn we were attacked to drive you in, to spend money in these opulent, stupid places that hate you. That's at least what I think it was. But the idea that, civil rights movement is about wanting to be next to the person who raped and murdered and sold you off is sort of ridiculous. But that's what the Democratic and association with the NAACP has made the movement. You've moved the bar. Giantly moved the bar. But you don't have to go take my word for it. Look some stuff up. I cannot find this stupid story. Oh, well. All right. We've been streaming for an hour and a half. Everybody's streaming. Another super story. Racism stopped her from trying on a wedding dress 70 years later. Her dream comes true. Maybe you should let go of that dream of trying on a wedding dress for 70 years. And that's it. You don't want us here. We don't want to be there. We'll spend our money elsewhere. But they make it impossible for you to spend your money anyplace. Right? There were 2 places that were famously burnt down, a whole bunch of people killed for trying to be what the dream said we as Black people in America should be. But now, since those things are all gone, you get to get gouged by your neighborhood this or your so that. A lawyer hoped history books would help her Capitol riot client grow. She was called a traitor. History books? Everybody calls everybody a traitor. Yeah. Trump is making coin. I think he endorsed several people who lost. That's legitimate. But that doesn't mean his magic is personally gone. And you didn't say this thing when Hillary Clinton was endorsing people and they were losing, right? It just sounded like do. Outrageous. Shoot someone in a movie theater. Ugh. Amanda Knox is back in the newspaper. How about this? Maybe we should give people a pass, not a pass, but maybe we should stop reporting on people who are famous for sinister reasons. I don't care about her getting married. I don't care about her having a baby. I don't care. But, this is what happens, right? You don't pick the news, they give it to you, and then they say, well, this is what you're interested in. And that's not what you're interested in. I cannot fucking find this thing. The COVID Delta variant. Where did it come from? Nope, don't say where it came from. That's racist. I don't care about everything comes from there. The reason why you can't talk about shit coming out of China is because we owe fucking China so much money. The people who put us in bed with China, in my opinion, really need to sit down with a military tribunal and explain why they're not traitors. Really. You got movie stars begging the Chinese so that, it's disgusting. Where is this stupid story? It's so weirdly worded too. And I was like, how are you blaming men for this? Neurocrazy is a murder mystery that plays like a Wikipedia. Neurocrazy? I don't even know what that. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I get. That's it. I guess it's not here. I can't find it. Dodgers extra inning woes continue with 6-5 loss to lowly Diamondbacks. Why are you calling them lowly? White Boy Rick says the FBI in Detroit taught him the narcotics game. Then he double crossed them. Yeah, I mean, I think this country does that. Did Trump follow his pledge to donate the last 6 months of his presidency pay? It's a mystery. Why do you care? Why is everything about Trump if he's out? Because you got to keep people aware of him and that he's a bad guy. Hope you get a bullet. Man charged with sending death threats to Fauci. I hope you get a bullet isn't a death threat. I will shoot you is a death threat. Now the term for what a threat is to famous people, the bar has moved so ridiculously. If I said I hope a fucking meteorite lands on you, is that a death threat? It's still wishing you ill, right? U.S. swimmers, my heart was solely broken. Agony, agony, agony. Simone Biles, U.S. relay team. Kate Ledecky, another gold, the medal haul. Blah, 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 blah. Wow. Connifield is out of the ICU after sustaining brain hemorrhage in a BMX crash at Tokyo. It says Tokyo 2020. What they meant is Tokyo 2021. Michael Che claims he was hacked. Ugh. Here's the problem with your woke mob. Who are these people who come at you? I think a lot of them aren't regular people. I think a lot of them are, quite frankly, orchestrated troll bots to sort of get people's ire and mob up at you. So my whole position is, fuck you if I can't see your face or hear your voice or this anonymous from the hinterland going, choose a racist or choose a sexist or choose a homophobe or choose a anti-Semite, you know? Who are these people? Well, the internet says internet is not a thing, right? Judge ordered Ghislaine Maxwell's lawyer to keep out of the press. Amanda Knox accusing Matt Damon, Tom McCartney. Yeah, okay. Good Lord. Why is my news full of comic book and movie shit? I have to get a new news carrier because this is garbage. Politics. Yeah. Why black women are saying no. What about the black men? Right? We don't want to talk about them. We want the black women to know that we feel them because we're going to keep shooting these guys in the street. And it's which black women are you talking to? There's a lot of black women who sound like me. I never see them on anybody's news. EMS can't keep up with COVID calls. Yeah. More celebrity news. Bob Odenkirk's heart attack. I'm like, primary wave quietly amasses large singles interest. See, this is what happens. You work something, you're not close with your family, you die without a will, your family takes it and sells it to your enemy. It happened with Prince and it happened with Michael Jackson. And they end up owning all black music. So please spare me. Could have left it to some black university to make sure black people had college educations, right? Could have not know it's going to sit in a bank account of some, like I went into about Ask Captain BMI earlier. You're right. They make a lot of money off of racial hatred of black people, in my opinion, with this music. And people like me going, what the fuck is this? You know, they'll just shush us off with their trillions of lawyers and TikTok will create the viral savage. Okay. And then other groups will come out of the woodwork and accuse you of shit. Time's up is, yeah, okay. Yeah, I guess I can't find it. Biden's Justice Department says IRS must hand over. Okay. This is good. You know why? Because when they're the Republican president, I think he's going to do the same thing a lot of these shifty Democrats and some of the freaking crimes that they've got on the books, that, you know, that whole, I won't say anything about your crimes, you won't say anything about my crimes, is going to be over. So I really do think digging into Trump's business and is fine. And I think the next time it's going to be people seriously digging into the Clinton operation with all the fucking Republican judges that Chuck Schumer let pass through and put on the bench. So I don't really even know about it. Millennials can't buy houses. Who is this? Yeah. Yeah, it's all comic book news. And it's sort of fucked up because I like comic books, but not this much. Texan Oklahoma move to SEC is approved, setting off turmoil in college football. Let's talk about college football for a second. You should be paying these athletes. Instead, you make $1 billion off them by telling them, oh, no, it's about education. Here's the thing. A lot of those athletes don't even have to go to school. So if it is about education, let's sit them all down to asking some very basic questions about history and the shit that they should know there, and watch how none of them can answer it. And then you can arrest everybody for conspiracy to commit fraud, which is what this is. Oh my God. Who does not know this shit? It's like everybody's stupid and will buy everything we tell them. And I'm looking around like, okay, I can't be the one with the common sense here. I'm looking for, like the song says, I need a hero. I'm looking for a hero out this bitch, right? Someone who gets it, so I can go, yeah, I feel that guy because he said X. I don't see anybody doing that. So I'm out here wagging my fucking finger at the giant corruption and we're going to call it mismanagement. She's a cutie. Cooking with Paris. Is Paris Hilton a cook now? Video shows woman attacking Cleveland store owner after $11 purchase on card declined. It's $11 on your card, but this is it. Some people, that's all they'll have in the world, right? It's sad. I mean, how did we get here? How did we get here? And we're back to fucking movie star shit. Illinois warns Ben & Jerry's owner to walk back West Bank decision or face disinvestment. So people in Chicago are telling you, if you don't do right by a foreign nation, is there, this is the traitor. Who's American anymore? If all your allegiances lay outside this country. Man, round these people up. This is getting ridiculous. Conservative radio host Phil Valentine put on a ventilator due to COVID. Yep. But apparently it only affects conservatives. I'm pretty sure Republicans are going through some of this shit, but not Republicans. Democrats are going through some of this shit, but they're not who they're trying to get you to talk about. The last time I heard a Democrat dying of COVID was after January 6th riot. They came in. A few congressmen got COVID and died. And that tape was like, look at what the conservatives did. They killed this guy with COVID, kind of like thing. But if you tell me the news, tell me everybody. I cannot find this story. I figure I've been stolen forever. Our judicial system is a shit show. All right, well, I guess that's it. Can't find it. I feel sorry that I mean, I thought it was an interesting freaking read. I'm just kind of like, you know, it's good that women have agency, and it's good that they have an agency to sort of say, hey, we as women want X, but like all agents better watch who's the liars and who's full of shit and what they're telling you. It's beginning to lightly rain. I'm wondering if we should call it. We've been streaming for an hour and 50 minutes. I think we should call it. I think we're definitely going to be back later today to cook a steak. That won't be the 6 o'clock show. That'll likely be 11:30, 12 o'clock show. Test for me streaming it on my phone, which I haven't done yet. I'm going to make a steak and what? I don't even know. All right, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. I would tell you that you are consequential. I tell you this all the time. You know this. Whether you are made in God's laboratory from clay and then from a rib of that clay, don't even ask me, or if you're made from the solar winds and stardust coagulating together like they made stars and suns and cosmic phenomena like comets and meteorites, right? And here you are on the ball walking around. It's an amazing thing. You shouldn't waste it, right? People want to control your mind with bullshit theories and everybody's evil but us, so vote for us, right? Watch who's saying what. People aren't always bad. I've got issues with Trump. He's done 5, 6, 10, 15 things that I hate, but I also feel the same about a lot of Democratic politicians who got 5, 10, 15 things that I hate. I would advise you to be woke, not let somebody run over you and your family so they can stay in Congress, or, they can sell this property, which in 10 years, they will then, what do they call it? Eminent domain, and take your house or whatever away. They make it impossible for you to go to college. And if you do get a college degree, you owe the price of a house on it. None of this makes any sense. So yeah, know that you should do something, not put too much faith in them. And you will get to the next level slightly a bit happier. Make friends. Friends are important. You shouldn't be alone in the world. You should have somebody to kick this stuff off of, right? I kick this stuff off of a ton of people. So I know half of you are like, what the fuck? And the other half are like, yeah, I sort of understand where he's coming from. And then another half of you are like, that's totally ridiculous. And then the other half of you are like, I'm going to withhold judgment. So with that, you know that I've went to New York City public school with the math. We will be back here. It's 10 to 9. Should we say to 9? Now, we don't like to push we've been streaming for an hour and 55 minutes. We don't like to push it. Yeah, friends and allies are important. Family is important. Having a career path is important, but those things shouldn't be rigged against you. All right, I got love for you. I will see you probably at like 11:30 to try and cook this thing. And if I don't see you then, I will see you at 6 for the evening show. God bless you. The cosmos bless you. Allah bless you. Jehovah bless you. Whoever blesses you, I hope they bless you. And if you believe in none of that, then I hope the cosmos takes favor. Lady Fate, right? Fate, Destiny, takes favor and cuts you a break. I think we also need a break. I will see you in the next one. Thank you